So let's get a check on oil now. See, oil prices still elevated this week for sure. It's a weekly gain, at this point, $77.73 per barrel. Just like earlier today, we're still seeing a rise there, 0.17%. The U.S. grade WTI, $73.81 per barrel, 0.15% up. So this market still staying up. But let's bring in Wachira Kariuki there. He's joining us from Nairobi. Great to have you, Wachira. So definitely, if you can hear me, Wachira, both benchmarks are on track for a weekly gain, at this point, except something big, happens with when it comes to oil demand. But it's 8%. It's looking like 8% for Brent. That's for the week. That's huge, coming from last week, which was a loss.
Exactly. So first of all, thank you for having me, Ladi. It's always a pleasure to do the quick commodity roundup on Channels TV. So yes, the commodity market this particular week has been ridiculously hit by the conflict in the Middle East. We are hitting a high of $75 per barrel this particular week, and especially as East Africa, as you can imagine, this is going to hit us very hard in December. Remember, in Kenya, as with most African countries, we're not as privileged as Nigeria, where you guys come from. So most of our oil, even if the conflict is resolved in 3 months' time, the prices now will be very high. So in December, when it's holiday time, that's when the East African market will be hit by these prices. So the WTI, the American kind of oil, is very high. Brent is also very high. WTI, Brent, and of course the normal crude is hitting new highs of $75 a barrel. Between 6 a.m., between midnight today and today, right now, midday, the market has jumped up another 60 basis points. So we are now hitting $75 a barrel. This is unprecedented, and every single day for the past 5 days, the market has been hitting new highs since the conflict escalated between Israel and Iran in the Middle East, Ladi.
Right, and is this the conflict, the narrative that takes oil to $100?
Yeah, it's very possible. Geopolitical aspects are the ones that drive the commodity market, and especially oil is a very volatile commodity worldwide. And so I would not be surprised, because every single day we have moved 2 basis points. That means we come from $70 to $72 in one day, $72 to $74 in one other day. So we are only $25 short of $100 a barrel. Is it too much to expect for it to come? If there is no conflict resolution, the UN does not entertain the problem, they don't find a way to resolve that conflict, and most countries have not bought enough oil going forward, then simply there's going to be a problem with demand. Remember, oil is controlled by the logistics of the supply. You might be produced, but the channels are a problem. And when there's a problem with the ships crossing the Suez Canal, they have to use a longer route, which means they take more time, which means the price keeps on going high. So it's not too much to think that if in the next 2-3 weeks this particular issue is not resolved, or worse, it escalates, we'll hit $100 a barrel. Irrespective of other ways of production and other avenues of production, like the Nigerian market is producing quite a bit for Africa. Maybe we'll have to look at that, but even that, we think is going to continuously appreciate it as high. Nobody wants to sell their oil at a lower price. So we think the price of oil is going to hit $100 a barrel if they don't take more than 3 weeks to resolve this particular price.
Right, I would say the oil bulls, the oil bulls will definitely be enjoying this right now. But we know most of the central bankers, the global central bankers, they've started a rate cutting cycle. How much of a risk does this conflict, and with oil prices rising, how much of a risk does it pose to this rate cutting cycle?
I think it poses a major risk, honestly speaking. It poses a major risk because, one, it was unforeseen. There's always been conflict between Israel and Iran, but there was a major attack by Israel on Iran. Then, of course, there was that ridiculous number of missiles that Iran also rained down on Israel. And to make it worse, Kazakhstan also cut the amount of oil they were producing. So for sure, it's going to escalate in a big way. It was unprecedented and calculated. It has come in very heavy in terms of impact, and a lot is happening in a very short time. So it does impact very heavily on the rate cuts for sure. It's quite unfortunate, but it's something we have to deal with as different economies, especially in Africa, as third world economies.
Right. I guess another headache for the central bankers at this point. But thank you so much, Wachira Kariuki, CEO, African Diaspora Asset Management. Thank you so much for coming on.